Okay, finally we get to this big monster of a molecule, organic compound. It has a fairly large chain and then various things hanging off of it. So let's see how you go about naming this one. So remember, there's a few branch points here. Every time you get to a branch point, you have to decide which way you're going to go to find the longest chain. So if we start with the branch point furthest on the left that I mentioned, that I circled, here's starting off the longest chain. And then when you get to this point, you want to continue going to the right rather than up, because this is going to lead to a longer chain. And when you get to this next branch point, you could go down 2 more carbons, or kind of up and further to the right 2 more carbons. So which way do you go? You go down, because that's going to maximize the number of substituents. Okay, you have more things hanging off of that longest chain that way. All right, so that's what you do when there's a tie like that, when you have a choice. And then the rest of these things hanging off of that longest chain are the substituents. So we have a methyl and ethyl, this thing, and then there's another ethyl. Okay, can we number it already? Yeah, because we want to give the lowest combination of numbers, give things the lowest numbers possible. So it'd be better to number, let me get rid of these other ones I wrote there. So better to number starting from the right. So 1, 2, we give the methyl a 2 that way, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the last name for this is Dodecane. I'm going to leave a little room out in front because we have a few substituents here. The simple ones, that's a methyl, that's an ethyl, this is another ethyl, and we need to figure out what that one is. So far we're going to have in the prefixes for the name a methyl and a diethyl there. And the diethyl would come first in the naming because you go by the E, not the di part, but the ethyl part. That comes before M. So what's the name for this other substituent? Here we'd have to use a systematic nomenclature. So the point of attachment to the longest chain is the 1 position. It has to be the 1 position, okay, by default. So that's 1, then you follow the carbon chain from there. It's kind of like a mini naming problem now. That's 2, and then of course going up or to the right, either way, it's going to be the same thing. That's 3 carbons. So this is some kind of propyl group. But it's not just a propyl group, because there's a chlorine in this other methyl group hanging off of it here. So we will want to indicate that they're there and where they are. So we have the chloro in the 1 position on that propyl group and the methyl in the 2 positions. So this is a 1 chloro 2 methyl propyl group. Okay. And of course, that begins with a C as a substituent. So that will come first in our naming. Now on the longer chain, this group, this 1 chloro 2 methyl propyl group, is hanging off of the 6th position. So if I start way over here on the left, we have in the 6th position this 1 chloro 2 methyl propyl group. Then what comes next are 2 ethyls, and they're in the 3 and 9 positions. So we have 3, 9 diethyl. And then finally we have the methyl in the 2 position. So Again, our substituents are in alphabetical order, C, then we go by the E and the M. Numbers showing where they are. So 6 parentheses, because it's a complex name, so we put in parentheses so it's not confusing what numbers go with what. So 6 1-chloro 2-methyl propyl group, 3 9-diethyl 2-methyl dodecane.